Day 431. Wednesday, June 5th. 2 Kings 14 1-14 and 2 Chronicles 25 1-24. 2 Kings 14 1-14 NKJV. In the second year of Joash the son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, Amaziah the son of Joash, king of Judah, became king. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoaddan of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like his father David. He did everything as his father Joash had done. However, the high places were not taken away, and the people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. Now it happened, as soon as the kingdom was established in his hand, that he executed his servants who had murdered his father the king. But the children of the murderers he did not execute, according to what is written in the book of the law of Moses, in which the Lord commanded, saying, Fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor shall children be put to death for their fathers, but a person shall be put to death for his own sin. He killed 10,000 Edomites in the valley of Salt, and took Selah by war, and called its name Joktheel to this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, Let us face one another in battle. And Jehoash king of Israel sent to Amaziah king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give your daughter to my son as wife. And a wild beast that was in Lebanon passed by and trampled the thistle. You have indeed defeated Edom, and your heart has lifted you up. Glory in that, and stay at home, for why should you meddle with trouble so that you fall, you and Judah with you? But Amaziah would not heed. Therefore Jehoash king of Israel went out. So he and Amaziah king of Judah faced one another at Beth Shemesh, which belongs to Judah. And Judah was defeated by Israel, and every man fled to his tent. Then Jehoash king of Israel captured Amaziah king of Judah, the son of Jehoash, the son of Ahaziah, at Beth Shemesh. And he went to Jerusalem, and broke down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim to the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver, all the articles that were found in the house of the Lord and in the treasuries of the king's house, and hostages, and returned to Samaria. 2 Chronicles 25 1-24 NKJV. Amaziah was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoaddan of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, but not with a loyal heart. Now it happened, as soon as the kingdom was established for him, that he executed his servants who had murdered his father the king. However, he did not execute their children, but did as it is written in the law in the book of Moses, where the Lord commanded, saying, The fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor shall the children be put to death for their fathers, but a person shall die for his own sin. Moreover, Amaziah gathered Judah together and set over them captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, according to their fathers' houses, throughout all Judah and Benjamin. And he numbered them from 20 years old and above, and found them to be 300,000 choice men, able to go to war, who could handle spear and shield. He also hired 100,000 mighty men of valor from Israel for 100 talents of silver. But a man of God came to him, saying, O king, do not let the army of Israel go with you, for the Lord is not with Israel, not with any of the children of Ephraim. But if you go, be gone. Be strong in battle. Even so, God shall make you fall before the enemy, for God has power to help and to overthrow. Then Amaziah said to the man of God, But what shall we do about the 100 talents which I have given to the troops of Israel? And the man of God answered, The Lord is able to give you much more than this. So Amaziah discharged the troops that had come to him from Ephraim, to go back home. Therefore their anger was greatly aroused against Judah, and they returned home in great anger. Then Amaziah strengthened himself, and leading his people, he went to the valley of Salt and killed 10,000 of the people of Seir. Also the children of Judah took captive 10,000 alive, brought them to the top of the rock, and cast them down from the top of the rock, so that they all were dashed in pieces. But as for the soldiers of the army which Amaziah had discharged, so that they would not go with him to battle, they raided the cities of Judah from Samaria to Beth Horon, killed 3,000 in them, and took much spoil. Now it was so, after Amaziah came from the slaughter of the Edomites, that he brought the gods of the people of Seir, set them up to be his gods, and bowed down before them and burned incense to them. Therefore the anger of the Lord was aroused against Amaziah, and he sent him a prophet who said to him, Why have you sought the gods of the people, which could not rescue their own people from your hand? So it was, as he talked with him, that the king said to him, Have we made you the king's counselor? Cease. Why should you be killed? Then the prophet ceased, and said, I know that God has determined to destroy you, because you have done this and have not heeded my advice. Now Amaziah king of Judah asked advice and sent to Joash the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us face one another in battle. And Joash king of Israel sent to Amaziah king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give your daughter to my son as wife. And a wild beast that was in Lebanon passed by and trampled the thistle. Indeed you say that you have defeated the Edomites, and your heart is lifted up to boast. Stay at home now. Why should you meddle with trouble, that you should fall, you and Judah with you? But Amaziah would not heed, for it came from God, that he might give them into the hand of their enemies, because they sought the gods of Edom. So Joash king of Israel went out, and he and Amaziah king of Judah faced one another at Beth Shemesh, which belongs to Judah. And Judah was defeated by Israel, and every man fled to his tent. Then Joash the king of Israel captured Amaziah king of Judah, the son of Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, at Beth Shemesh, and he brought him to Jerusalem, and broke down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim to the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver, all the articles that were found in the house of God with Obed-Edom, the treasures of the king's house, and hostages, and returned to Samaria. Daily Deep Dive. The UCG reading plan states, like so many people, Amaziah, king of Judah, started off on the right track, but his initial acts soon faded away. Indeed, it is specifically mentioned that he did everything as his father Joash had done, 2 Kings 14:3, meaning that he followed the right example that Joash set early on. But he later follows the example of Joash in apostasy and result in disaster. His first action as king was to execute those who had murdered his father, 2 Chronicles 24:25-26. In doing so, he followed what God had taught Israel through Moses by not killing the sons of the perpetrators for their father's crime, compare Deuteronomy 24:16. Then, however, we see Amaziah starting to waver. Instead of relying on God, 2 Chronicles 14:11, Jeremiah 17:5, he thought he could protect Judah by hiring mercenaries from Ephraim. But God is not limited to our human efforts, Mark 9:23. To his credit, Amaziah listened to a man of God who came to him with sound advice, 2 Chronicles 25:7-10. God honored his obedience with victory, but his earlier lack of trust was to backfire on him. The mercenaries he dismissed took advantage of the armies being away and pillaged Judah's frontier towns. Sadly, it all went downhill from there. At this point, Chronicles records an utterly unconscionable fact not mentioned in Kings. Instead of thanking God for his victory, Amaziah brought the gods of the people of Seir, that is, of the Edomites, whom he just defeated, set them up to be his gods, and bowed down before them and burned incense to them. 2 Chronicles 25:14. This was totally irrational to the point of absurdity. The futility of gods, which could not save their own people, should have been obvious, but men still worship that which is demonstrably inadequate. Expositor's Bible Commentary, note on verse 15, emphasis added. It seems that Amaziah couldn't learn the lesson. There was no way God would allow Amaziah to get away with such outrageous behavior, and he sent a prophet to correct the king. But Amaziah didn't want the advice. Rather, he became a victim of his own pride. Overconfident following his victory over the Edomites, and angry at the Israelite mercenaries who raided Judah's cities after his dismissal of them, Amaziah challenged Jehoash of Israel to a battle, a senseless undertaking as portrayed by Jehoash's fable, where he likens Amaziah to a thistle fighting a cedar of Lebanon. Yet Amaziah would not see reason. Indeed, this development came from God, we are told, as a way for him to impose judgment. Verse 20. Judah lost the battle. And, more humiliating still, Amaziah was taken captive and treasures from the temple and the palace were taken as spoils of war. Biblical historian Eugene Merrill writes, Amaziah himself narrowly escaped with his life. Why Jehoash spared him at all is a mystery, for he evidently took him back to Samaria as a prisoner, 2 Kings 14:13-14, after taking him to the plunder of Jerusalem, 2 Chronicles 25:23-24. The answer may lie in the date of these events. Both the author of Kings and the chronicler stress that Amaziah outlived Jehoash by 15 years, 2 Kings 14:17, 2 Chronicles 25:25. This may be their oblique way of suggesting that Amaziah's release from Israelite control is to be tied in with the death of his captor, Kingdom of Priests, A History of Old Testament Israel, 1987, p. 372. Merrill's explanation has Amaziah being released soon afterward, seeing the battle described here as occurring just before Jehoash's death. However, he also offers the possibility that the battle occurred 10 years prior to Jehoash's death, cp. 372 footnote. In comparing all the biblical data on when the kings of this period reigned, the latter appears to be the case. This would mean that Amaziah was a captive of Israel for 10 years, during which time his son Uzziah, or Azariah, was elevated to the throne of Judah. Upon the death of Jehoash, Amaziah is evidently permitted to return to Judah, where he lives for 15 more years in a co-regency with his son. See Edwin Arthela, The Mysterious Numbers of the Hebrew Kings, 1983, pages 113-116. And, 2 Chronicles 25, verse 10, I would have thought they would have been happy to have been paid and not have to go fight. But the John Gill commentary states, it being a great slight put upon them, and a reproach to them, to be thus dismissed, as they thought, and especially if they understood that it was because they were idolaters, and the rather as they might have hoped to have had their share in the plunder of the Edomites.